I will now work with water of crystallization or hydrated compounds. They both mean the same thing. They basically mean with water. If you hear the word anhydrous, it means without water. First question. I've got the sodium sulfate compound. It's hydrated, or it's a water of crystallization. It has that MR value, which is 322.1. I want to calculate the value of X. What I can say is sodium sulfate Na2SO4 dot XH2O has a value of 322.1. So if I work out the MR of sodium sulfate, which is going to be 23 plus 23 for two of them, plus 32.1 for one of them, plus oxygen is going to be 16 times that by 4, I'm going to get that value to be 142.1. That's for the sodium sulfate. Plus water is going to be 18, 16 plus 2 is 18. X is equal to 322.1. So if I work out X is going to be 322.1 minus 142.1 divided by 18. So in this case, X in this case is therefore going to be equal to 322.1 minus the answer is 180 divided by 18, which is going to be 10. So X in this case is going to be 10. I will now move on to another question. I've got a water of crystallization compound or hydrated zinc sulfate. It's heated to make zinc sulfate and XH2O. I've got 3.51 grams of that, and it's making 1.97 grams of that. I want to work out the value of X. Whatever goes in, the mass in is equal to mass out. So if that's 3.51, that water is going to be 3.51 minus 1.97 because whatever's left over. So if we do 3.51 minus 1.97, that's going to be equal to 1.54. So if I use the empirical formula method to calculate X, then I can go ahead and get the answer. So zinc sulfate to water is 1 to X is 1.97 to 1.54. When what I do is I then need to calculate the MR value. So this is going to be the mass. Then I need to calculate the MR value. So the MR value of the zinc sulfate is 161.5, whereas the MR value of water, if I had 16 plus 2, is going to be 18. If I do then my step number 1 divided by my step number 2, that's going to give me 0.0122 to 0.085. That's if I did that divided by that 1.97 divided by 1.161.5 and 1.54 divided by my 18. Then what I need to do is I divide through by the smallest value, and the smallest value here is going to be the 0.012. So it's a 1 to 7 ratio. So X in this case is equal to 7.